Okay, so we are back with lesson 5, and in this lesson we have a second server that we created, and as you can see, the code is similar to what we already had. We have port, HTTP, and HTTP status. We already explained that. We required them from one of our dependencies, and then we create a variable called app, and here we just run the HTTP. we just run the create server method on HTTP, and we just store that in our app variable. And then the first thing that we do is we create this variable that's going to store this function here, where we take object as a parameter, and then we're going to return JSON, and then we're going to stringify it and create a JavaScript object using it. Yes, and then we're going to use our on. We're gonna use app.on as we see here, and then we're gonna take the request, and we're gonna have a anonymous function here that takes requests and responses parameters. We're gonna create an array here called body. It's gonna be empty at first, and then on request, basically we're just going to create a variable here. We have data here. We're gonna put this in quotation marks, and then we're gonna have this function here that takes body data as a parameter, and then we're gonna push that body data into this array here, and then basically we do something similar here, but now we're using end instead of body, and we're gonna run this anonymous function, and then we are going to concatenate the body and also turn whatever it is, that data, into a string, and then we're gonna log to our console the contents of the body. And after that, we're gonna log to our console. Firstly, it's gonna be method where we're going to use get JSON string, which is this function here, and we're gonna pass in the request.method as an argument there, and then we're going to display our URL using the same logic, using get JSON string function, passing in request.url as our argument. Same thing with headers, passing in request.headers, and then we're going to use a write head method again, passing it HTTP status.ok, which is the same as 200, and then once again it's the content type that we want is text or HTML. We are going to create the response message variable here, and it's going to say this will show on the screen, and it's just going to send a response at the end with the response message, and it's going to print to our console that the server is listening. It started and listening at port 3000, whatever port that we provide here. So if I run this, as you can see, I'm already in that directory, the directory for lesson 5, the second server, and I'm just gonna say node main.js, and the server has started and it's listening on port 3000, and I open it here, I refresh, and we get all of this. The headers, the method, as you can see, is get. This is the URL, and yes, it's the method, the URL, and the headers. These are the headers here, as you can see, and we can see the details, the body content of our request, and it says here request body contents, as you can see. So that is all for. No, that's not all. That's not all. We'll now be moving on to simple routing. So let me just kill this here, and then we are going to go to simple routing. And yes, inside simple routing, as you can see, we have our main.js. Once again, it's very similar to what we had, except now we have this we have this variable here, which is a route response map. As you can see, it's storing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects, right? And each object represents our route. So this is a route that we can put in our URL, and then depending on what route we put, this will be the value, the response message, basically, that's going to be displayed on our web page, right? For now, it's saying this will show on screen, but you'll see as we add other routes, other things will be displayed. And like I said, it's the very same thing as what we had before, except now inside of our HTTP create server method, we run this a similar function, but here it has a if statement, right? An if else statement. And if the root response map rec.url, we use bracket notation basically just to get into the object, and we check the URL. And if it does have a URL, if that evaluates to true, we are going to run a set timeout method, and after 2 seconds going to delay for 2 seconds. After 2 seconds going to send us our response. It's going to use .end, and it's going to take the root response map, basically the root response map that matches with the URL. It's going to take that and it's going to go into this variable here, and whatever we get here, request.url, we're going to use that using bracket notation to figure out which of these roots is the one we are concerned with. And at first it's going to just say welcome, but then as we add roots, you'll see. So this is the else statement. If this is not true, basically if we do not have a root, we are going to show welcome, but if we do have a root, we're going to show these messages here. And let me just show you that. Just going to run node main.js, and the server is listening on port 3000. If I refresh, as you can see, that means our root response map did not evaluate to true, and it triggered the else statement that is showing welcome, and that's because we don't have a root here. So the first root that we have is /info. So if I go here and I say /info and I click enter, it's gonna delay for 2 seconds and it shows us info page. And then if I go to /contact, it delays for 2 seconds, and then it shows us contact us. Same thing with /about, delays for 2 seconds, then it shows us learn more about us. Then with hello, it's supposed to say hello by emailing us. Let's see if it's going to show us that. We're gonna say /hello, delays 2 seconds, and then say hello by emailing us here. And then this is a link. We click on this link, it takes us somewhere. Delays for 2 seconds still, I think. Oh, I linked it to Google, but you can link it to your email or wherever you want to link it. And then the last one is error. So if we take it to this root here, /error, delays for 2 seconds, and then shows us this text. Sorry, the page you're looking for is not here, which is the same as we have here. So that's how routing works in Node. So I was the driver and Boitumelo was my navigator. Thank you. That was lesson 5. Oh, sorry, I need to do the summary. I keep forgetting to do the summary. So in summary, what we had to do here, as we saw, we just implemented some simple routing, and we learned how to handle request content. We responded with viewable HTML, and we built several routes. And by identifying the request contents, we were able to process that posted data from a request and separate response content based on targeted URLs. The creation of routes shapes our application logic, and as a web application expands, its routes will also expand, and the types of content that it's able to deliver as well. So thank you.